Jaehyun Park stared out the small viewport of his research vessel, watching the distant stars drift like scattered crystals against the infinite black canvas of space. The ship's interior hummed with a soft, persistent vibration, a sound he had grown accustomed to during months of solo exploration. His mission was straightforward: map uncharted regions of the Orion Arm, collecting data on stellar formations and potential habitable zones. Most days blended into a monotonous routine of sensor readings, system checks, and occasional radio communications with mission control back on Earth. Today felt different. The navigation console flickered unexpectedly. Tiny red warning lights began to dance across the display, breaking the usual calm of the spacecraft's controlled environment. Jaehyun's hands moved quickly, fingers sliding across holographic interfaces, checking system diagnostics. "Something's not right," he muttered to himself. A sudden gravitational shift threw the small vessel into a slow, erratic spin. The ship's artificial gravity struggled to compensate, causing loose equipment to rattle and shift. Jaehyun's heart rate increased, professional training pushing aside any initial panic. The research vessel was designed for long-duration missions, with redundant systems and emergency protocols. But this felt different. This wasn't a simple malfunction. Something external was interfering with the ship's core systems. Outside the viewport, space seemed to warp. Distant star patterns shifted unnaturally, like water rippling around an invisible stone. Jaehyun checked the quantum navigation system; it was completely offline. Oxygen reserves began counting down. 72 hours remaining. The ship's AI spoke in a calm, emotionless voice: "Critical navigation failure. Attempting system recovery." But no recovery was coming. Jaehyun realized he was truly alone. Millions of kilometers from the nearest human outpost, drifting in a region of space so remote that rescue seemed impossible. His training had prepared him for emergencies, but this felt different. The ship continued its slow, deliberate spin. Emergency power systems kicked in, casting a soft blue light across the compact living quarters. Personal items, a photograph of his family, a small plant he had been growing, a worn notebook, seemed to float weightlessly around him. Hours passed. Or was it days? Time became meaningless in the vast emptiness of space. Just when Jaehyun had begun to accept his potential fate, something changed. A massive shadow crept across his viewscreen. At first, he thought it might be a hallucination, a trick of an oxygen-starved mind. But no. Something was out there. An alien vessel. Impossibly large. Geometrically perfect in a way that defied human understanding. It moved with a grace that suggested intelligence far beyond mechanical navigation. No sudden movements. No aggressive positioning. Just a calm, deliberate approach that seemed to say, "We see you. We are here." Jaehyun's hand hovered over the communication panel. Protocol suggested caution. Years of space exploration training warned against immediate contact with unknown entities. But something else, a deeper instinct, told him this was different. Before he could make a decision, a transmission pierced the ship's communication systems. Not a mechanical signal. Not a digital pattern. But a voice. Clear. Melodic. Impossibly warm. "Human vessel," the voice said. "You are invited." In that moment, Jaehyun Park understood that his mission, his entire journey through the stars, had been leading to this single, extraordinary moment. The unknown awaited. The massive alien vessel moved with an unsettling grace, its surface rippling like liquid metal against the dark backdrop of space. Jaehyun felt a strange calm wash over him as his damaged research ship was gently drawn into a cavernous docking bay that seemed to breathe with an organic rhythm. Docking clamps engaged with a soft, almost musical click. No violent movements. No aggressive actions. Just a precise, calculated invitation. His hands trembled slightly as he prepared to unlock the airlock. Training screamed caution. Years of space exploration protocols demanded multiple safety checks. But something deeper, an inexplicable intuition, pushed him forward. The interior atmosphere stabilized immediately. No toxic gases. No radiation signatures. Instead, a strange warmth filled the connecting corridor. It felt welcoming. Almost alive. Jae-hyun's standard-issue environmental suit seemed unnecessary. The air tasted clean, with a subtle hint of something indescribable, like distant memories and unexplored possibilities. Footsteps echoed differently here. Each step produced a resonance that felt more like a conversation than a simple sound. The corridor walls shifted subtly, revealing intricate patterns that seemed to respond to his movement. At the corridor's end, a massive chamber opened up. And there she stood. Hygiene was not what human imagination might typically conjure as an alien ruler. She was tall, easily 2 feet taller than Jae-hyun, but her presence felt more like a gentle presence than an intimidating force. Her skin appeared to shimmer, not with metallic reflection, but with a soft, living luminescence that suggested complexity beyond human understanding. "Welcome," she said. The word emerged in perfect Korean, yet Jae-hyun knew no translation device was active. Her eyes, deep and reflective like polished obsidian, studied him with an intensity that felt more curious than threatening. Those eyes suggested centuries of knowledge, of observations that stretched far beyond human comprehension. "You are far from your intended path," Hygiene continued. Her voice carried no judgment. Just a simple observation. Jae-hyun found his voice. "My navigation systems failed. I didn't choose to be here." A subtle smile crossed her features. Not a human smile. Something more nuanced. Something that suggested she understood far more than her words revealed. Around them, the chamber itself seemed alive. Holographic displays appeared and disappeared. Complex mathematical equations danced in the air, forming and reforming with breathtaking speed. Technology so advanced it bordered on magic. "Humans are interesting," Hygiene said. "You drift. You explore. You survive where others would surrender." Her words felt like more than a simple statement. They carried weight. A profound observation about humanity's fundamental nature. Jae-hyun realized he was not just a lost spaceship pilot. He was a representative. An unexpected messenger from a species that this alien civilization had been watching for generations. The chamber's ambient temperature adjusted perfectly to his comfort. No request made. No controls visible. It simply responded. "Would you like refreshment?" Hygiene asked. A crystal-like container materialized, filled with a liquid that seemed to glow from within. Not an offer. More like an invitation to understanding. Jae-hyun's mind raced. First contact protocols. Scientific observations. Personal survival. But something deeper pushed through those rational thoughts. This was not a confrontation. This was a conversation. "Who are you?" he finally asked. Hygiene's smile deepened. "We are those who have been waiting," she responded. "And you are exactly who we expected to find." The chamber hummed. The alien vessel continued its silent journey through the vast, unexplored regions of space. And everything, absolutely everything, was about to change. The chamber transformed around Jae-hyun, walls dissolving into a panoramic display of galactic history. Holographic images swirled like living memories, civilizations rising and falling, star systems blooming and dying, countless species flickering across the vast canvas of universal time. Hygiene moved with a grace that defied physical laws. "Humans fascinate us," she said, her voice carrying the weight of millennia. "Where other species calculate, you innovate. Where others hesitate, you leap." Massive projections began showing human achievements. Not just technological milestones, but moments of unexpected courage. A firefighter running into a burning building. A scientist working endless nights to solve a complex problem. Explorers pushing into unknown territories. Individuals making impossible choices against overwhelming odds. "Your species is an anomaly," she explained. Her fingers traced complex patterns in the air, each movement creating intricate data streams. Most intelligent species follow predictable evolutionary paths. They optimize. They minimize risk. They survive. Humans did something different. Images of human conflicts mixed with moments of incredible cooperation. Wars that devastated continents juxtaposed against medical breakthroughs. Technological advances born from desperate circumstances. Survival strategies that defied logical prediction. Jae-hyun watched, mesmerized. The presentation wasn't just a history lesson. It was a profound analysis of humanity's core nature. Your species does not just adapt, Hygiene continued. You transform. You break rules. You create solutions where no solution should exist. Holographic models demonstrated human problem solving. A simple engineering challenge would show dozens of potential alien approaches, all logical, all precise. The human approach? Completely unexpected. Often chaotic. Always innovative. Quantum calculations danced around them. Complex mathematical models tried to predict human behavior. Each attempt failed spectacularly. We have observed your civilization for centuries, she said. Other galactic species saw your potential as a threat. We saw something different. The displays shifted. Dark shapes began consuming entire star systems. Civilizations millions of years old vanished like dust. Advanced technological societies collapsed under systematic destruction. Jae-hyun realized this was more than a presentation. This was a revelation. Conventional strategies have failed against this threat, Hygiene explained. Her tone carried no fear. Just a profound, clinical assessment. Logical approaches. Technological superiority. Mathematical predictions. Nothing worked. The images showed countless alien civilizations, each more advanced than human technology, being systematically erased. Precise. Efficient. Unstoppable. But humans? A slight smile crossed her features. Humans are different. The presentation highlighted human historical moments. Small groups overcoming massive challenges. Individuals making impossible choices. Technologies developed under extreme constraints. Survival strategies that defied all logical understanding. Jae-hyun understood now. This wasn't just an observation. This was a selection process. Humanity wasn't just being studied. They were being considered as a potential solution to an impossible problem. Your unpredictability, Hygiene said, is your greatest weapon. The chamber pulsed with energy. Complex algorithms tried and failed to predict human responses. Where other species would calculate, humans would imagine. Where others would retreat, humans would challenge. A civilization was about to make humanity an offer that would change everything. And Jae-hyun was its unexpected representative. The revelation was complete. The choice would soon follow. The holographic display materialized like a living nightmare. Dark, geometric shapes consumed entire star systems with mechanical precision. Civilizations millions of years old simply vanished, not destroyed, but systematically erased. Hygiene's fingers moved across the projection, revealing layers of cosmic destruction that defied human comprehension. These were not random attacks. This was calculated extinction. The Void Architects, she explained, her voice carrying a clinical detachment, are not a civilization. They are a solution. Jae-hyun watched as entire galactic sectors transformed. Perfectly geometric patterns replaced complex planetary systems. Stars compressed. Planetary structures disassembled. Life in all its chaotic diversity simply disappeared. These entities didn't just destroy. They reorganized entire cosmic regions with a mathematical perfection that was terrifying in its completeness. They see complexity as inefficiency, Hygiene continued. Biological diversity? Unnecessary. Cultural variations? Wasteful. Their goal is absolute systematic optimization. The projection showed their method. Not violent conquest, but a precise, methodical reduction of everything into simplified, controllable systems. Planets became perfect geometric structures. Biological ecosystems transformed into pure energy networks. Jaehyun understood this was beyond war. This was cosmic engineering. "We have tried everything," she said. Emotion flickered briefly in her eyes, something rare for her species. Technological superiority. Strategic warfare. Diplomatic negotiations. Mathematical counter-strategies. Nothing worked. The Void Architects absorbed every defensive strategy. They learned. They adapted. They optimized. Millions of advanced civilizations had already fallen. Except, Hyejin's gaze locked with Jaehyun's. Humans are different. The display shifted. Human historical moments appeared. Small groups overcoming impossible challenges. Individual humans making choices that defied logical prediction. Technological breakthroughs born from desperate circumstances. Where mathematical models predicted surrender, humans innovated. Where logical strategies suggested retreat, humans fought. Their approach was beautifully chaotic, completely unpredictable. "Your species doesn't just solve problems," she explained. "You reimagine the entire problem space." Jaehyun realized this was more than a presentation. This was a recruitment. Humanity wasn't just being studied. They were being considered as the universe's unexpected solution. The Void Architects worked through perfect calculation. Humans worked through imagination. Where one saw systems, the other saw possibilities. "We need your randomness," Hyejin said. "Your ability to break rules. To create solutions where no solution should exist." Complex algorithms tried predicting human responses. Each attempt failed spectacularly. Humans didn't follow expected patterns. They created them. The holographic display zoomed out. Millions of star systems hung in delicate balance. The Void Architect's geometric expansion continued, methodical, precise, unstoppable. Except now, humanity represented an unknown variable. "We are offering you a chance," Hyejin said, "to save not just your civilization, but potentially all civilizations." Jaehyun understood the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a mission. This was a cosmic responsibility. Humanity's greatest strength, its unpredictability, its capacity for unexpected innovation, would become the universe's last hope. The projection pulsed. Waiting. One species stood between systematic extinction and potential survival. And that species was human. The choice would soon be made. The transformation chamber hummed with an energy that felt alive. Soft blue light pulsed around Jaehyun, creating intricate patterns that seemed to breathe with each passing moment. This was more than a medical procedure. This was a complete reimagining of human potential. Hyejin watched carefully, her eyes reflecting complex calculations that moved faster than human thought could comprehend. "Your body will become a bridge," she explained. "Not just enhanced. Transformed." Microscopic nanites began their work. They weren't simply modifying Jaehyun's physical structure. They were rewriting the fundamental code of human capability. His DNA danced. Genetic markers that had been dormant for millennia suddenly activated. Neural pathways expanded, creating connections that defied traditional human understanding. It wasn't just an upgrade. It was an evolution. Pain was not the right word for what he experienced. It was more like remembering something he had never known existed. Memories that weren't his own flickered at the edges of consciousness. Survival strategies from 1,000 different species. Problem-solving techniques that existed beyond human imagination. The chamber around him responded to his changing biology. Walls shifted. Technology adapted. Every system seemed to be learning, growing alongside his transformation. "Humans are our wildcard," Hyejin said softly. "Where others see limitations, you see opportunities." Jaehyun's body absorbed technological augmentations that merged alien precision with human creativity. His brain now processed information at speeds that would have seemed impossible moments before. But it wasn't just about speed. It was about potential. Holographic displays showed his changing biological structure. Quantum connections replaced traditional neural pathways. Genetic modifications enhanced both physical and mental capabilities. But the core of his humanity remained untouched. "You will be our first," Hygiene explained. "A representative. A bridge between what humanity is and what it can become." The transformation wasn't about creating a weapon. It was about expanding possibility. About giving humanity a fighting chance against a threat that had consumed millions of civilizations. Memories of Earth flickered through his enhanced consciousness. His family. His training. His previous life. They weren't erased. They were integrated. Made more meaningful. When the process completed, Jae-hyun looked different. Not dramatically. But something in his eyes suggested a profound change. He saw the universe differently now. Possibilities where others saw only limitations. "The Void architects believe in perfect systems," Hygiene said. "You will show them the power of imperfection." His first movement was unexpected. Not a test of strength. Not a demonstration of new abilities. But a simple, human gesture. A smile. The transformation chamber began to dissolve. But something fundamental had changed. Not just for Jae-hyun, but for humanity's entire potential. He was more than a pilot now. More than a scientist. More than a human. He was a bridge. And the universe waited. The real adventure was about to begin.